guys, I'm Sai. Welcome to Keepin It Real on Ace Podcast Nation. This is our wrestling series where we fit in as many wrestling stories and hot takes as we can in about 45 minutes to an hour. So we're going to do a quick 45 today, just covering some stuff. But of course, as usual, you can get this and all the other shows and series we do on Ace Podcast Nation, video versions, youtube.com/Ace Podcast Nation. Please subscribe. And the audio versions are all the usual podcast and radio platforms. Just search Ace Podcast Nation and you'll have a selection of like 300 odd shows, and they're all different series and subjects with top guests, expert analysts and more. But joining me as ever for Keeping It Real is the man himself, the legend, the interviewer and writer extraordinaire from postwrestling.com.
Extraordinaire.
It is the man, Mr. Andrew Thompson. How goes it, my friend?
Side the science guy. What's going on, man? How you feeling? I just got some breaking news, man. It ain't had nothing to do with wrestling, but it's quite the news, sir.
Go on.
The Trump campaign paid more than $2.7 million to the individuals and firms that organized the January 6th rally that led to violent rioters storming the U.S. Capitol.
Holy shit.
That's something.
That's something.
That is some news for you right there, buddy. But why is that not surprising?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, unfortunately, it's not like a shocker, but
it's a new day in America, brother. Yes, it is.
Yeah. I find it difficult to get my head around quite what's going on over the last couple of years in the US of A. It's been a worrying time, but hopefully we're about to embark on a slightly more peaceful and improving time. I hope.
It's going back to regular racism now.
Wow, they've had what was it, 2 or 3 years of being allowed to just walk around in the street and say and do whatever they please, and people excusing it.
That was my first time using that joke. I'm glad it popped you. That was my first time using that.
It's strange times, mate. They're gonna have to go back to secret racism now.
Well, let's get into it, brother. I know you mentioned it off air about the Undertaker, but can we please talk about one Chris Jericho? I don't know if you saw AEW Dynamite this Wednesday. His failed attempt at a lion salt.
He needs to stop doing that move.
It's
before
over.
He breaks his neck.
Now see, I wouldn't. I made a joke, and I wouldn't have made the joke if I made sure to see that it wasn't like one of those things that was going to end up bad health wise, because I don't like. I can't joke about like somebody like getting hurt. But like I saw that it was just him not having no rotation, so I made the joke, and I was like the election had him shook, the inauguration had him shook. So hell yeah.
No, I think he needs to retire that move, bro, because
he can't. I don't know. He doesn't have the lift for that anymore.
Yeah, man.
He doesn't have the lift for that no more. Hey, I was gonna aim to cut you off, but I got a hot take. About Jericho. I think AEW could cut him loose today and they wouldn't lose a step.
Ooh.
Boom.
That's interesting though, because like he obviously he was their first champion. He's been very much a focal point of their TV, but he hasn't, like the Inner Circle hasn't been, like they've been on TV each week as usual, but they haven't been as prominent as what they were, maybe 6 months ago. Like they haven't been in the main storylines. They've kind of, even the thing with MJF has kind of fizzled out a little bit, where it was quite interesting at first, and it looked like he was going to cause all these problems, and then now they've kind of almost, they're all getting on. There's still a little bit with him and Sammy, but I don't know. Like I was disappointed that they didn't just put Santana and Ortiz over in that match, the tag team match.
They're a legit tag team.
Yeah, I feel like they've been really underutilized.
But maybe that's gonna be like a catalyst for them to lead a group, which I think should happen. Should have been happening.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. I mean, it kind of maybe does take the storyline on with MJF a little bit, further because he can kind of make some comments and they can get frustrated and there's all sorts of ways to take it. They still did tease a little bit between him and Sammy, and I think I wonder whether it's ultimately going to lead to Sammy turning babyface, Ortiz and Santana leaving the group completely, and then you kind of go to down to Jericho, Hager, and MJF and
And
Wardlow, and
Warlow,
then
yeah,
maybe they'll go against each other. But yeah, I
that's a
don't know.
smart
I
move. That's a smart
just
call. Some good long
what
term booking right there, brother.
well, you know me, mate. I'm all about the long term, all about the long term, baby. What speaking of long term, takes me nicely into one of the longest of terms, and that was the Undertaker. Obviously, recently retired. He went on Joe Rogan podcast. So when I first heard he was on there, I was like, oh, that should be some good stuff. I quite enjoy some Joe Rogan stuff. I find like some of his stuff on DMT and like that sort of stuff quite interesting. Some of it, and I enjoy his MMA shows. Some of his other stuff I can give or take. I don't really watch it, but when I saw some of the clips that they dropped, because you can't watch it in so I used to watch it on YouTube. So if there was someone on there who I thought was quite interesting, I'd watch it on YouTube. But in the UK, you can't watch it on Spotify. Whereas I think in the US you can watch the full episodes on Spotify.
But I forgot that those were exclusively on Spotify because
Oh yeah,
I tried to look for it on Apple and I couldn't find it. And I was like, oh, I
yeah,
forgot that he signed that big Spotify deal.
yeah, the big money, baby. But what did you make of his comments, like about the kind of the guys being a bit soft, uh, like the modern day wrestlers being a bit soft compared to the guys back in the day? Do you feel like it got taken out of context a little bit? It's I don't know if I do or not
Uh,
because it's difficult to see because I haven't seen the full episode, and I have only seen like a little clip, so I don't know if they kind of clarified it further. Judging by the reaction of people, probably not, because I tend to think if there was more context to it, you wouldn't have like a Xavier Woods or other people kind of shitting on it. Do you know what I mean?
so like, may, I don't think he has like a like ground to stand on with this point. Like, I guess I can kind of see. No, I can't. I don't know. I mean, like so when like that like I think I probably need to listen to the interview in full and like hear that
Yeah,
exact quote before I really like jump on it because like maybe he meant because like it's easy to look at a quote right
yeah,
and
of course.
interpret it
Everything you
however
go
you
with.
want to but you gotta hear it for yourself like that's say like even I can relate to that when I do the news updates. It's certain stuff that people say that you should rather hear so you can add context to it. So it's not just a blind quote out there. Like John Moxley did a Q&A with Bleacher Report, right? And he
Mm.
said that they asked him if he would ever go back to WWE. Moxley said you should always say never. And he did he didn't say he would go back, but he said he would always be he would never shut himself out from doing business with WWE
Yeah,
because he has a kid going away and he wants to put the kid through college. Like he say he doesn't not like money. And then
yeah,
he also added at the end, which is very important, that if they talked, he doesn't think anything would come of it. Like he doesn't think anything will happen. He said he's not going to be against
yeah.
hearing them out. You know what I'm saying? And I think context when writing stories about stuff like that is very important. You can't just add in Mock saying, "Oh, I'm open to doing business with WWE," because that just opens up a bunch of can of worms that doesn't need to be open. But you got to add
For
in
sure.
the extra layer of context to say that if he did talk to them, he thinks that nothing would come from it. It's important to add that shit in there. But with the
Of course it
Undertaker
is, yeah.
thing, it's like look, bro, just because the roster today ain't all fucking coked up and on steroids and fucking like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
you
Carrying
might,
guns and knives and
you know
all
what I'm
that
saying,
shit.
bro? Like, just because people like to chill out and fucking stack money and play games. Like, dog, that's the way to live. Like, I'm not trying to be in a
Yeah,
fucking locker
not
room,
die at
but
like
with
50 and stuff.
bro, I'm sure that's fucked up, sir. That's
But
fucked
that's
up.
but it is no, that's not a dig at
No,
anyone in
I know what you said.
particular.
I know what you said. I'm just
It's
fucking with
like
you.
how many wrestlers over the years have died because of the steroids and the coke,
Yeah, I
and
mean that's true, bro. Like
or
they
just downright murdered. Like,
bro, back in the day, they was coked up and on steroids and doing all types of shit. Like, and then now wrestlers are just very like chilled out. They want money. They want like different outlets.
security and
They want different outlets to, you know what I'm saying, to express their creativity, like streaming and stuff. Like, bro, that's the way to go. Just because ain't nobody walking around a locker room full of testosterone, mad at the fucking world because they didn't get a push, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like
doesn't
they
mean they care any
you,
less.
you
Like,
like you willing to screw somebody over back in the day because they got a ass out on the card than you know what I'm saying? Like the old days of old, like, bro, Bruiser Brody got fucking stabbed and killed in a locker room. What do you
yeah,
mean? Like, what do
yeah.
you mean? The days
It's
of old, like that man got left for
when
dead
men were
in the
men, is
locker
what
room.
he said, wasn't it?
That is the
But like,
stupidest fucking quote I ever. Like, why do people say that when men were men? That shit makes no sense. And now
oh,
look at Undertaker, old Blue Lives Matter, country boy from. I mean, like, but this is the thing about like dudes like Undertaker, Jerry the King Lawler, like they are a product of their environments. You know what I'm saying? Like these 50, 60-year-old white men that grew up in the South when racism was widely accepted and nobody would even bat an eye at it, and they grew up around it and they probably participated in it in some way, shape, or form at one point during their life, living in that environment. Not saying that they did, but living in that type of environment growing up, you become a product of what you see. So
yeah,
they have certain ideas and certain ways of thinking that are just so established in their brains that it's impossible for them to acknowledge anything else. You know what I'm saying? That's not within their confines. So that's what they do. They project that shit onto younger generation. Like if they see somebody chilling out in the locker room, like not fucking like zoned in 100%,
yeah,
like not talking to nobody, they think they not focused. No, bro, they just not fucking stressed out about it. Like they not. And then the thing is, the wrestlers today are far more talented, athletically. Athletically, are far more talented. And then like
yeah.
Undertaker just talking that bullshit, bro. No nobody give, like, come on, man. Like the dude. I'm gonna let you go before I get carried away.
It's
Yeah.
no, it's like the end of the day. Look, just because these people in modern day wrestling prefer to use their creativity in other ways, the world is very different. There wasn't an outlet to do streaming and video games and other such stuff. There was no internet back in the day. But I'm sure people, fans of like that era of wrestling and people who were like on board with these sort of comments would be like, oh yeah, but that wrestling was so popular back then. But it was different back then because there wasn't 63 million TV channels and internet streaming services and all these different things which take away viewers from TV products and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Just
Xavier Woods isn't a man with 2.24 million subscribers on YouTube,
yeah,
but that
and
bank account looking real manly.
yeah, and they're all those guys like Xavier Woods and Paige and people like this. They are, just because they're not pulling in the ratings that they did back in the Attitude Era.
Bro,
They're
that don't even
making
got shit to do with them, bro.
they're
People just
making
don't
more
watch wrestling
money.
as much as they used to.
Yeah, of course they don't. But
That's
that's
that's just
because you can
that's just what
watch
it is, bro.
20 million other things, mate. That's
And,
why.
and, and then on top of that side, like, dude, how many times have me and you done a podcast and we told each other off air, hey, I didn't catch AEW this week, I didn't catch NXT this week.
Yeah.
You watch the shit later. Like you know, like
It's like, oh,
you could watch it later. Like, bro, like even I remember when me and you talked about Ring of Honor, we was like the Pure tournament. We was like, oh, we're gonna catch it on
yeah.
whatever later. Like, you don't have to watch stuff now. It's not of that era anymore, bro. You can catch stuff a week later. You can watch things a week later, 2 weeks later. You don't have to see it on demand. Like the ratings, I think maybe it is, of course, specifically speaking about not just pro wrestling as a whole. the reason I think the ratings aren't as high is because people just don't watch wrestling how they used to, and then on top of that, it's just so many different ways to watch it. Like some people
Yeah.
don't feel like catching it at 8 o'clock every Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. So some people just rather catch it whenever they feel like they want to or they got time. Like
There's so much. There's so much wrestling on as well. Like there wasn't wrestling back in the day. There wasn't wrestling on TV every night from different companies featuring different guys, featuring proper storylines and stuff. So like TV wrestling back, all the TV in the different kind of like territories or whatever, which might have been on TV. The TV was very much like star versus jobber with a little bit of storyline progression. Like now, Monday to Friday, there is wrestling on TV featuring the top guys from that brand, storyline progression throughout. So, like, if you watch all that wrestling, you've got very little time to do other stuff, whether it's your job or this, that, and the other. And I just think, of course, the way people intake their wrestling is different now to what it was back in the day. Do I think wrestling is less popular than it was in the Attitude Era? Of course it is, and I think partially that's not because of the talent. That's because of the way WWE has booked it. They're so petrified of someone doing what The Rock did, what Austin did, and to a lesser extent what John Cena did, and becoming so big that they just go to Hollywood and leave the WWE in the behind. They don't want a star. They don't want their guys to get that big. They want their guys to get about as big as sort of Roman Reigns, where they're a superstar around the
Sasha
world.
Banks on the way.
Yeah, but they don't want it to go too far. They want it to be recognised by everyone around the world, but they don't want it to get those big Hollywood films.
You know how big it was for her to
Get the
have
Mandalorian.
no like to have Mercedes. Yeah, that. But I mean, like to have her credited as Mercedes Varnado instead of Sasha Banks. That's big.
I bet
That's
that rubbed
big.
them up the wrong way as well.
It had to. Like I mean, I'm not saying that it right. I know that it did, but come on now. You know that they probably wanted Sasha Banks to be the tagline. I got credit, but it says her real name.
But when The Rock did Walking Tall, he was credited as The Rock, and then I think a couple of the films after that, he was credited as Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and he kind of gradually like moved away from that.
And I think that's just partially because The Rock just realized he didn't need WWE. Like he didn't need them. They need
Yeah, of course.
they need him more than he needs, and vice versa.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. Because it's like one of those things, isn't it? Where, like, now they're almost begging The Rock to come back because they need him because they haven't created any new stars. Whereas he doesn't need the WWE. Would he like to? He'll probably end up doing something with Roman. I think in Dallas next year. Yeah, probably.
He said he would
does he?
He said he would love to come in and put over Roman. But like he's so damn busy, like he ain't got the time for that shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like him potentially getting hurt is like throwing away a bunch of money, bro. Like if he gets hurt, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it's a lot in that. Do you know what I mean? Like it's one of those things whereby it's such an inconvenience to his career.
Let me ask you this: if you were in his position, having that connection with Vince McMahon, having that connection with WWE, and all that they did for you, basically put you on the path to becoming what you are today. But at the same time, you one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, if not the biggest actor in Hollywood. You got a production company you got to take care of. You got all types of other deals and shit that we probably don't even know about going on right now. Fucking, I think like a whiskey company or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, would you want to go back for that one last big payday, or even if it is that big of a payday? I'm pretty sure you probably made more than that, but like, would you take that risk, or just to go back for one more thrill? I know if that was me, I probably do it.
I think the only reason he will is because it's Roman. If it was just for if it was for anyone like who wasn't family, I don't think he would. But I think because it's Roman, I think he probably will. I don't think it'll be in I saw some people saying they think it's going to be in the LA one in 3 years time, or 3 WrestleManias time.
I don't
But
think
I
they want to wait
actually
that long. They don't
no,
want to wait that
I
long.
think it'll be the Dallas one myself, which I kind of get.
That AT&T Stadium bigger.
That don't you think though that runs? It's a bit of a risk with Roman, like because I feel like to maximize that story, Roman Reigns cannot drop that title, cannot lose that title until he faces The Rock for it to have maximum impact and enjoyment and all that sort of stuff. But that's a long time for Roman to hold the title and hope that people don't get bored with the way WWE jumps the shark and books stuff. Like, that's a long time. Like, they've already done the Kevin Owens match 3 times after the Rumble. And this is their problem, is they beat these matches to death. Like, I love Kevin Owens.
But the
He's one
crazy
of my
thing, bro,
favourite wrestlers.
bro, KO is hot right now. That's the thing.
He is. But like, he's not going to beat Roman. Do we need to see it again? Could they have done it twice and then left it and gone back to it another time?
This should have been Nakamura.
It should have been Nakamura. They've got to find a way to keep Roman winning, but also keep Roman winning, but also rotate the people he's facing so he's not just facing the same people over and over again, because I think that is where it could fizzle out a little bit. And I don't want that to happen because I'm really enjoying Roman's work. I just think they need to be a bit careful in how they do it. But we'll see, I guess. I guess it'll be interesting to see kind of what direction they go, who they bring in to face.
Who you think he facing at this year WrestleMania? That's like 4 months from now.
I wonder whether they're saving Nakamura for it. I do. But I think I said to you the other week, I would have quite liked to have seen Big E drop the title to Jey Uso at the Rumble with Roman interfering, and then Big E enter the Rumble at like 30 and win the Rumble and then go and face Roman at Mania. The only problem with that is if you're building to this Rock feud and you don't want Roman to drop the title, you can't do that because you don't want Big E to lose the big one, if that makes sense. So it's a tricky situation. I'd love to see Jey Uso with the Intercontinental title. I think that would be cool. But you know, it is what it is. You've got Aleister Black. I saw there was a report on Fightful Select, something about him. Maybe they're just letting the dust settle after obviously his wife left and stuff. That'll be interesting to see which direction they go with him, if they bring him back at all. I wonder if he might just end up going back to NXT. But like, he's such a talent, it's such a waste to have him sat home. Like, he could do some great things on SmackDown. Do you know what I mean? Like,
he lost too much steam, bro.
But they could bring him back and like easily do something real cool with him.
You know, I'm talking about like even before Zelina Vega left, like he wasn't like really doing anything of substance. To be honest with you, like it was like, but I don't know what has he like. I think the last good thing that I was interested in Aleister Black, and not him, but like just the way he was booked, was the series of matches he had with Murphy. Those were really good.
They were good.
And like
they never quite went and did anything with it, though, did they? Do you know what I mean? They took it to a level, and then they never pushed it to make it like red hot. Do you know what I mean?
Because I think it was just all about Murphy and get him to join up with Seth Rollins. I think Aleister Black was just a foil in that. Like, I don't think it really was anything for him.
One of my favourite feuds was with Aleister Black was with him and He Who Shall Not Be Named in NXT. I really enjoyed that feud. I liked the way Aleister Black portrayed himself. He said very little, but what he did say felt like it meant something because he said so little. And I don't know, I just feel like he's such a talented worker. They could do a lot with him if they just did long-term booking, mate. I say it all the time. They don't like it. They don't like the long-term booking.
You see Sting coming back, bro.
You know my opinions on this, my friend. I don't want to see it, but
I don't know what
unless
it is.
it's in a
I think it's
unless
gonna
it's
be.
in
I think it's
a
gonna be a
cinematic
cinematic.
version.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah,
Well, like I can't see this. Like let's call it a spade, bro. This is a 61-year-old man with spinal stenosis. Like, come on now. Like I don't even think it's safe for him to be taking bumps. I don't care how good he has recovered. Like like I could like it's not just it's not a brain injury, like something that maybe could possibly that something could heal over time, like we've seen with
yeah.
Daniel Bryan. You know what I'm saying? Like he took care of his body and took care of his, you know what I'm saying, and got
Mm-hmm.
cleared. Bro, this is. I mean, Edge came back, but it took Edge what, like 10 years?
And he wasn't 60.
And he, yeah, and that Ed, what is Ed? Well, Edge isn't even old, bro. But he's like in his 40s,
Yeah, I think he's
right?
like
He's
maybe 50,
maybe like
maybe,
around there,
but
like.
I
But
just
bro, he is 61 years old, bro. His last match was in 2015, and
yeah,
that
I
was a
think
match that, you know,
yeah when it happened, like we
unfortunately, yeah.
talked about it. Yeah,
I
it's
mean, if it's cinematic, I'm down. I want to see it, but like if I don't know if I like really want to see him. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
don't want to see
at
him
at
testing his body.
at Revolution. I mean, if he gonna get in there just to hit a couple little quick moves, maybe a spine buster or something like that, But I don't want to see him taking no bumps. I don't want
Yeah,
to see him taking no
yeah, I
bumps, bro.
agree completely, mate.
I mean, if he just getting all the offense in, then that's perfectly fine with me. But if he not, like, I don't want to see him in there fucking taking the drill claw from
Oh,
from
Jesus
Brian
Christ, yeah.
from Brian Cage.
Jesus. Yeah, you don't want to see that.
Can you imagine that tease
Oh my God.
of
Yeah,
Brian Cage?
teasing
Look,
it would be
yeah,
quite cool.
teasing it would be cool. Like if he lift him up for the drill claw.
Yeah, and you have like Taz encouraging Brian Cage to do it. Brian Cage almost being like a little bit like, oh, I don't know whether I should.
Mm.
I think that could be quite cool. Like, but come on, we don't need to be seeing Sting take bumps in 2021. Yeah. So, what stood out for you? What stood out for you in wrestling this week? Like, what did you enjoy? Just off the top of your head, let's shoot around a bit.
I didn't get a chance to watch AEW yet. I did watch NXT.
What do you think of that? I thought it was pretty good this week.
Did you see that move that Casey Catanzaro did? The hell was that? Did you see that?
I don't know if I saw bits of that match. I didn't see all of it, so I
Go
might have
go.
missed it. You'd have to talk me
Put
through it.
pull up the Are you on Google right now?
Yeah,
Go to the WWE on Fox Instagram account,
yeah.
and then just scroll down. You'll see it. You'll know the preview, what the preview screen looks like, bro. Look at that move, bro. It is ridiculous. I don't even think she meant to do that. It was crazy as hell. Like I ain't ever seen nothing like that in my life. I don't know what she was trying to do, but it looked cool.
I got Randy Orton's mask, which we'll talk about in a minute. Orton style splash. I can't see anything with Casey Catanzaro.
Did you go to the
Can't
WWE on
see.
Fox?
Yeah.
Okay.
Reels maybe would it be under?
Yeah, so it's on Reels.
Okay, holy hell. Is that what it is?
Mm.
Let's have a look. Just, yeah, I got it. Should I put it up on the screen?
No, don't get copyrighted.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Jesus. Oh shit. What the goddamn hell was that? What was that?
I don't
That
know.
was insane. I don't even know what that is.
Bro, I said the same thing when it happened. I was like, what the hell was that?
She has been training with Ricochet.
Obviously. When they out here having these maskless parties.
Yeah,
But we're gonna
Jesus.
we gonna leave that for another topic.
Is that what they've been having, is it?
Yeah.
What did you think of the fight pit?
I like them. I'm glad that they making that Thatcher's match and they're not overdoing it. Like I feel like that was on Raw, SmackDown. We'll be saying that shit like once every 2 months. We don't need to see that. We need to see that like once every 4 or 6 months. Like, and I like that they making that his thing. So it's cool, man. That and them teaming up in the Dusty Classic.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of that, bro. It's like they actually have like some legit tag teams, but like they just insist on giving like the main storyline to the makeshift dude, the dudes who don't
They
like each
haven't
other.
got that many tag teams on NXT, I don't think. Like, I know they've got a few, but they, like, don't get me wrong, I'd rather see the tag teams they do have, like, I can never bloody pronounce the Legado
Legado del
or
Fantasma.
Phantasma. I would like them to win the whole thing, but then obviously you've got Imperium and people like this. Like,
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, I'd
MSK.
rather, yeah, MSK. I'd rather see those three, any of those three, win it than Thatcher or Ciampa. But I quite like the natural progression of them teaming. Um, I didn't mind that. I thought that, like,
Bro, but don't you get to they do this every time? Like I'm not saying it's not interesting, but this is like literally every Dusty Classic. It's always two
yeah,
dudes who
they
don't
do
like
do
each
that.
other.
Yeah,
They did it last year with Riddle and Dunn. They did it before with Joe and Balor. You know what I'm saying? They
yeah,
always
yeah, they do. Yeah.
but they do this all the time, and it does. I'm like, damn, bro, when is it like a legit team going to end up winning the Dusty Classic? You know what I'm saying? Like you know who I want to win. I'm biased. NXT UK baby, Grizzled Young Vets.
Yeah, the grizzled young vets
But
slash four
did you
teams,
hear
which
did
I
you hear
really
the
liked.
interview that they did? They did an interview with the Independent, and so they you know they moved to the U.S. like full
I
time.
didn't know they'd moved full time. No,
Yeah,
so
they full time
that's
here.
good
But
news.
see what happened was they initially moved back in March, and on the day of the U.S. shutdown, they flew back to the U.K. to get the rest of their stuff,
Oh
and they got
no,
stuck. I'm talking about, and all their
nightmare.
and most of their belongings were at their apartment in the U.S. So they had to wait and wait and wait and wait, and then they finally got able to move the rest of their stuff back to the U.S. So they hit full time now.
Yeah, I'm really really glad to hear that because they're a special tag team and they're so special they could go and do it on Raw and SmackDown as well. So yeah, I'm happy, very happy to hear that they've made that move because they're a super talented tag team. The problem being, you just don't know what WWE is going to do with tag team wrestling. It depends what moods a certain person's in, doesn't it? Like he chops and changes his mind on whether he thinks tag team wrestling can draw. But talent wise, they're as good as any tag team on the planet. Um,
But WWE legit has one of the best rosters, bro.
oh, it's
Legit.
insane, mate, and that's why I always say if Vince McMahon and the creative powers that be could get out their own way, WWE should be untouchable in terms of quality products and storytelling. Like
Look at
if they could
look at the
tell long
wrestlers
term
they have, bro.
stories, like over Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, if they could consistently book those guys to be stars, not so much NXT because they've done a pretty good job overall over the years, but like Raw and SmackDown, if they could consistently book their guys to become stars and to keep them there and keep their products fresh and interesting and long term storytelling with payoffs and keeping the fans invested, they'd be untouchable in the world of wrestling because they've got this roster of like, well, three rosters, but they're all signed to WWE, where if they did those things I just mentioned, they could consistently every year just rotate the rosters and mix them up to keep their products fresh. But the reason they have so much problems is because they don't do the stuff I just mentioned. So the guys get stale or they hit these imaginary ceilings which are created by Vince McMahon or by the company itself. It's not the fans who hold these people back. It's not the stars that hold them back from breaking through into single stars or into mid card or into main events or into tag team stars or women stars. It's not the talent. It's the storytellers, the story writers. Sorry. Um, if they could have, if they could change that, AEW wouldn't have been able to do what they've done in the last year or so, because because AEW, until they have got two, maybe three shows, they can't have a roster the size that WWE's got. The one thing that AEW's got on their side is WWE can't get out of their own way. So whilst WWE is getting in its own way and frustrating its fans, AEW is building its fan base by generally being very entertaining and bringing new stars to the fold, listening to their audience as well. The problem, AEW, it's they have problems as well. I didn't think AEW this week was very good. I thought it was pretty poor. Not much happened, which is odd. You know, that doesn't happen very often, don't get me wrong. And I saw, did you see the announcement where WWE signed those 3 women to NXT?
Yeah, Elena
Yeah?
Black, Priscilla Kelly, and Lacey Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so in the
Elena,
in the
she got pulled from the GCW show.
yeah, so this is what I was going to say. So there was a few people in the comments, like, not necessarily slagging her off, but kind of slagging the WWE off and saying like how they hope she doesn't get screwed over by them and stuff. And like I think like what people forget is like a couple of things. One, um, these people, they want job security, they want financial security. They're building a career for themselves. AEW could have signed her. They didn't. They had her on Dark. They didn't sign her. Now, you could argue that's because they are not taking the best of care with their female division. And I think it's very difficult to argue that that's not the case. Because the WWE, NXT specifically, has got the best women's division probably in the world. And then you've just added these 3 women who are all super talented to it. Do you see what I mean? Like, people, I don't know, people are very quick to jump on people when they sign for WWE. But like, if you were a young female talent,
These are people like, bro. This
they
is the
got
thing people need.
families, they got houses, they
Bro,
got bills,
this is
mate.
this is the people thing that people need to realize, bro. They care sometimes more than the actual wrestlers do. Like, bro, let these people do what the hell they want to do. Like, if they feel like they need to set themselves up financially for the future, then do that. Don't do that, bro. You don't owe nobody an explanation in this world but your damn self. Like, if you feel like that's the best, if you feel like that's the best decision for you, then do it. Go wherever you want to go. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like
But they got
if they
they got
presented
bills, mate.
if they presented
You know
them with the opportunity to make a really good living and get the most exposure possible on most likely, not even most likely, the biggest wrestling company in the world. Like, why? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do it, do it. Like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it. If you
Yeah,
want to go there and stack for about 3, 4, 5 years, if you like it, stay. If you don't, leave. You'll be popular in the next 5 years. More popular.
absolutely, mate.
Literally that simple.
Absolutely.
And then
It's
who's to say they won't blow up in the next T? Who's to say they
yeah.
won't have success on the main roster? Who like
Bro, if you were a young female talent working
it's either
in
Impact.
NXT came in
It'll
and
be either NXT or
or
Impact for
Impact,
me. Yeah.
and I would have thought the likelihood is NXT is probably paying more. Probably, I don't know though, but they if you're looking at it from a where am I going to get the most most likelihood to work like storylines and matches week in week out on TV, those are the 2 companies as a female talent ultimately. So if the money is good enough and you can get that, of course you're going to go to one of those companies. Of course you are. Um, and like I said, AEW had the opportunity to offer contracts to the one girl, and they either didn't or it wasn't up to the NXT one. And look, it's frustrating. Okay, just as we finish up, mate, for the last few minutes, I'm going to ask you some quick questions about the week of wrestling, and you can give me like a couple of lines on whether you enjoyed it or didn't enjoy it, or why it was amazing, why it was shit. We saw Private Party become the #1 contenders for the Impact Tag Team titles. Were you excited to see Private Party on Impact along with Matt Hardy? And were you happy to see them become the #1 contenders?
Love it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was good. Impact's been real good recently. Do you What do you make of the Matt Hardy stuff and the kind of the heel run and
It's to get more interest in on private party
right?
because the day they turn on him, everybody gonna be happy because Matt been screwing him over.
But
Smart.
then they kind of did some heel tendencies on AEW on Wednesday, didn't they?
Yeah, it's part of the
They
story.
yeah, I like it. I do. I think it's interesting. It makes them more interesting as well by just they're doing something out of the norm. Um, what about what do you make of the Young Bucks and the build for the sort of the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega split? Um, I forget which bits were on Being the Elite and which bits were on TV, but I know you haven't seen AEW. But basically, they had the bit last week, didn't they, where Don Callis introduced Kenny Omega's best friends, and he said the Young, and then he went the Good Brothers, and the Good Brothers come, and then this week they had like a backstage camera where Kenny comes up to the Young Bucks and says, "Are we going to team up as the Elite?" Yep, yep. And then Don Callis says, "But you come out separately, so you get your own entrance." So Kenny Omega goes out with Don Callis. Don Callis introduces them, and the Young Bucks are stood behind the curtain waiting to be introduced. And then the Good Brothers come and they do the match, and then they have like a conversation backstage, and it's all really good. But my problem with it is I think it is all on Being the Elite. Should be on TV because it was real good shit, like real good storytelling. And what I liked about it is you had like the explanation from the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega, and they said, "Oh no, we didn't know." They kind of didn't put the blame on Don Callis, but like it was a misunderstanding basically. And the Young Bucks said, "Oh, are you telling her? You promised now, you're not lying." Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then they walked off, and the Young Bucks said to each other, they said, "Do you believe him?" And they were like, "Nope. We're not stupid baby faces," or something like that. And I just thought that was really like quite cute and quite funny. But it should be on TV, and that's my one of my criticisms of AEW is sometimes some of their best storytelling segments outside of the ring are on Being the Elite, and they should be on TV. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, man, 100%. Like I think they, uh, yeah. I mean, like
I know.
as far as the Dark Order and stuff, like I think they've. Well, you were talking about the Dark Order, right?
I was talking about Kenny and Good Brothers and Young Bucks. However, it does also work with the Black Order, the Dark Order. Um, what did you make of, just switching to that? What did you make of the way they did it with Adam Page and him saying no?
Uh,
Good storytelling, or do you think they should have pulled the trigger there and then?
I mean, I think they still got time to do it like a more convincing way to do it. Like it just seemed like they kind of like it made the Dark Order seem like they were like preparing for him to say yes, like they had the stuff ready and all that good stuff. So
Yeah,
they were ready for him to say yes, and then he denied it. It's a good story. Like I think he'll end up
especially
joining.
especially because next week it's the Good Brothers and the Young Bucks versus the Dark Order. So like you could have Adam Page make the save if like they're kind of beating him down with chairs or something. He could come out and save the Dark Order, or he could come out and then he could be like caught in the middle almost, like where he doesn't know who to help. It's I feel like they'll definitely do something with that next week to progress the storyline. Like it makes sense, doesn't it, that he would kind of be something to do with that. I don't know quite which direction they'll go. I'm interested though. I'm interested. Let's have a quick look. What else we got? Randy Orton in a mask. What did you make of that?
Nothing.
Just at least they didn't just pretend it didn't happen. Like that's something they've done in the past, isn't it? Is just ignore it. Um,
It was just like
I just think it was just a way.
it was a thing that happened.
Yeah, as such as Raw, and I think it was a way to address it without making him blind or without having like loads of bandages on his face. It was just a way, something they can just get rid of whenever they want without making it too big of a thing. What did you think of Alexa Bliss transforming? Like, obviously, it's the benefit of having the like the Thunderdome. They can pre-record it and stuff. And but what did you make of that? Did you enjoy it? Like it?
No,
Dislike it?
bro. I'm gonna be honest. I had like I've been like so tuned out of Raw. Like it's like
It's hard, isn't it?
bro, it's on, but I'm not like really enjoying anything. Most of what they're doing, like I'm enjoying the Hurt Business. I like that a lot, but
Yeah, they're good.
like the Alexa Bliss stuff, I'm not. I'm not. It's just like
So
whatever, bro. Like she pinned the Raw Women's Champion for no reason. I'm pretty sure they probably going to end up putting the title on her eventually because like they might as well at this point because Oscar ain't really
yeah,
doing nothing.
I think that's the first. Like, obviously, as you know, I follow that storyline really closely, and I watch like all the Easter egg videos and stuff like that because I enjoy all that stuff. I find it interesting and that, and that kind of transforming into the match, in the match, I didn't. That's the first part of it where I was a bit like I didn't enjoy that. Like I liked the backstage little teasers before where she had the contact lens and like that gradual thing, but I've been kind of waiting for her to go into this really dark transformation kind of thing for a match. Whether she goes full fiend or not, I don't know. But where she goes into like a bit of a transformation and is more aggressive in the ring and blah blah blah. Like they didn't do it with Nikki Cross, and I felt like they should have. And then when she beat Oscar, I thought, well, they're gonna probably have her face Oscar and squash her, in like because that's how they treat Oscar, and they'll boost like they'll launch Alexa Bliss's fiend or whatever dark character, and then they just haven't really done it. Like if they're gonna do it and do it properly. It feels like they keep going, getting ready to do it, and then they pull back, and I feel like that's hurting her because as a performance, I think she's doing a phenomenal job at the moment. In terms of like how she's portraying the character, she's very very good. What are you looking forward to in the coming weeks in the world of wrestling, mate? To finish us off,
Mm, the Rumble, the New
yeah, that's
Beginning,
gonna be good.
the New Japan New Beginning. Their big New Beginning shows, not the Road to New Beginning shows, but the big cap off. I think that's happening. Or one of the big New Beginning shows is happening
Mm-hmm.
next weekend. I'm interested in the New Beginning at the on in early February because I think Jay White gonna come back.
Yeah,
Um, what else? Um, there's a lot of good stuff going on right now, bro.
yeah,
It's hard. It's hard to keep up with everything, to be honest with you. But
it really is.
we doing it. We doing it. I'm interested in GCW's
Yeah,
24 hour
I was
block.
gonna ask you that to finish.
Yeah,
About that because I know you've got some stuff going on. Just before I do, I forgot to ask you. Impact Hard to Kill. Did you enjoy that show?
yeah. It was a solid show. I say like a 7
Did
out of 10.
Yeah, I thought it was. I was 7, 8 out of 10. It's pretty good. I thought it was quite funny that everyone was up in arms about the Bullet Club attire because like people were like, "Oh, New Japan are definitely they're involved in the invasion angle or the crossover angle," and I was like, "Not really," because if you think about it, over the years in all companies, wrestlers have worn T-shirts of other wrestlers. So like, you might have had like CM Punk wearing a Colt Cabana T-shirt or something on Raw. Like it's happened loads of times before. So really, they didn't refer to them as Bullet Club. They didn't announce them as Bullet Club.
They
They
can't. New
basically,
Japan owns the trademark. You can't.
yeah, but that's what I mean. So I just felt like yes, they wore T-shirts. It was very clever to wear the Bullet Club T-shirts because it was it got people talking. But ultimately, it was nothing. Like there was nothing to it. Tama Tonga's working beautifully in some of the stuff he's saying. He did on his Twitch stream the other day. He said he's saying like WWE hit me up and we'll do we'll work together. We'll show these guys like how to do a proper crossover and stuff. I just find it really Tama Tonga is a real interesting, entertaining dude. But yeah, sorry I interrupted you then, mate. So GCW this weekend, is it?
Yeah, no, next weekend.
Next weekend, and what's the show called?
Fight Forever. They're doing it's a 24-hour show. Legit.
Jesus.
It's they got like different blocks. The show set up like for the culture, Effie show. What else? It's like a bunch of different shows at different blocks. It's not like all just one thing. Everything is
not just
themed.
continuous.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of shows going on.
Where do
continuously.
people watch that, mate? On Fight TV? Is it?
Free on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, they
Oh, I'm gonna watch that shit.
people donated. I think they raised like $16,000 for the wrestlers total, and the show hasn't even come on yet, and people are still donating. So it's cool, man. It's all free, and they taking super chats and doing the stream. So people want to send more money in, you can do that.
Yeah.
But it's airing free on YouTube, like the whole straight way through.
That's
all
amazing.
on YouTube.
I'll definitely watch that.
I'm definitely
next weekend. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna watch the For the Culture show.
Yeah. I was looking forward to that wedding, the one that got cancelled. Was it WrestleMania weekend? When they postponed it?
No,
there was one, wasn't there?
It happened in October.
Got postponed.
No, For the Culture happened in October.
Okay.
At the Collective. Confused. No, it was supposed to happen at WrestleMania weekend though.
And then they moved it to October.
To the Collective, yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out so that's on GCW's YouTube channel, is it?
Yeah.
And that's next weekend. Is it the Rumble next weekend or is it the weekend after?
No, it's the next weekend. Yeah.
Jesus.
And the new beginning show is that weekend too.
Yeah, I was gonna do like I think I hit you up, didn't I, about doing like a Royal Rumble watch along. But the problem being is obviously you'd be covering it for Post Wrestling. Alex is covering it for Talk Sport. So like the people who I would do a watch along with, or all of them together, they're all kind of working for their individual stuff. So I'm hoping that we're going to do a Royal Rumble watch along. I've got to find someone who's willing to stay up all night in the UK and do it, or someone in the US who's not priorly engaged. But if we can sort something out, we can definitely we'll be doing that. Andrew, tell the people what you have got coming up on your incredible YouTube channel.
We got just a couple interviews to promote the GCW show, and I'm very much looking forward to putting those things out. So yes, check me out on that Andrew Thompson Interviews YouTube channel, and they can follow me on the Twitter machine at AD Thompson 2 underscores.
2 underscores. Because he's double bad man. He is he's twice as good as everyone else as well. He's got
the dude who got AD Thompson stole it, and he's inactive on Twitter, so I can't reach him.
Frustrating, isn't it?
Very frustrating. I'm gonna call him out. His name is Life is Andy.
Is he really?
He last tweeted in November.
He needs to sort it out.
You guys should reach out to him so I can.
Everyone should tweet him and say, Andrew Thompson, give up your YouTube, your Twitter handle to the real Andrew Thompson. Real Andrew Thompson, please stand up.
I wonder if I DM'd him, would he actually let me get it?
Yeah, be interesting, wouldn't it? Ask him what's the worst that could happen, mate. At the end of the day, like the worst thing is he says no. Yeah. You haven't lost anything. But it depends how much you want it, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I would rather have no underscore, but I mean, it's at the end, so it's not like in the middle or no shit like that.
Makes you unique, bro.
Oh yeah, and Leo Rush debuted on NJPW show.
Oh mate, I love Leo Rush. He's such a talented dude.
He quit the challenge though, man. I was hurt. Quit the challenge, bro. He quit MTV The Challenge.
Oh, he didn't get. Didn't they evict him or something?
No, he didn't get it. No, he did get eliminated. He quit because he said just being away from his wife was pregnant. So like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, like being in fucking Iceland, away from his
Okay.
family. You know what I'm saying? Like it was a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So he just made the decision to step away from the game, but he didn't get eliminated. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they invite him back. But it was just I guess like bad timing for him because like wife pregnant,
Yeah,
mental health.
that's big, man. You don't
Yeah,
want to be away from your especially like the way things are with COVID. Like with
yeah, got
everybody.
quarantine. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I would not like that. Would not like that at all. But Andrew, as ever, mate, it has been an absolute pleasure. I always enjoy these shows. They always cheer me up. We've even gone over our 45 minutes, so I apologise to you for that if I've made you a bit late now for your other stuff.
just
And
put it on the books. Put it on the
put it
books.
on the books. But hopefully we can fit something in next week. I'd really like that because it's it cheers me up, man. It keeps my mental health on point because I always come out of it feeling super positive. Guys,
You got the
subscribe.
Daniel Bryan haircut going on right now.
Yeah, I done it myself, man. Done it myself. It looks alright from the front. It's the back where it goes a bit.
Oh yeah. One thing I did want to talk to you about
Go
before we
on, bro.
hopped off. Nikki Bella said she wanted to join the creative team. What you think about that?
Well,
I like it. They ain't got
I
shit else to
think it's
lose.
a good idea, mate. It can't be any worse than what it already is. You know, they could probably do with having some females in there who've been there and done it as well. Because I always, who was the lady who used to work on? She worked in NXT as a coach, Sarah something.
Sarah Amato.
Yeah, I think so. What was she on the like when she was a wrestler?
Sarah Amato.
There was I
Or
forget
Sarah
her
Stock.
coach. Sarah Stock, maybe. I don't know. There was a woman who used to work. She was NXT coach for a while,
Yeah, both
and
of them were Sarah Amato and Sarah
but
Stock.
she was also like quite a relatively big indie star too. And I
Oh,
always
so
wondered
Serena Deeb
why.
was a coach for
Mm,
NXT.
no, it was Sarah or Sarah.
Yeah,
Um,
No, you probably talking about Sarah Del Rey.
yeah, that
That
sounds
that,
more
that
like it.
that's Sarah Amato.
Oh,
That's her
okay.
WWE name. To
Ah,
say.
got you. So I always thought she'd make a good creative team. Uh,
Did you hear the story that when WWE signed her from the independent scene, they wanted her to be a coach, and they made it like a mandate to not even think about incorporating her in storylines.
it's unbelievable, isn't it?
You got arguably the
It's
best
incredible.
women's wrestler off
Yeah,
the indie scene, and you immediately
don't
want her
want
to
her.
be a coach. Come on now.
It's
But I
just,
mean, I'm assuming at the time she got signed was when they weren't really big on. I mean, but why would they ask her to be a coach if you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
If they didn't have them intentions, like yeah,
They
you know.
obviously knew how talented she was because they
Oh yeah, they
wanted her
know.
to coach
They
the
know.
other, like the up and coming stars. It just it blows my mind, mate, why they wouldn't try and use her.
See, I'm
As
surprised they ain't never try to like go further with Serena Deeb. Look at her now.
Yeah, that was weird. They
She killer.
that was so strange though, the way they like, because they clearly rate rate her as a talent and her abilities, because otherwise they wouldn't want her to coach their
Right.
new up and coming stars or whatever. Um, so it's strange to me why would you not use these ladies in as wrestlers? Like it's mind blowing, really, when you think of it. But you know, such as the WWE, I guess, mate. They're a strange bunch, I guess.
Hmm.
They're a strange bunch. Right, guys, subscribe to youtube.com/Andrew Thompson interviews. Click the bell for notifications, and that way you'll get a notification every single time Andrew Thompson uploads a new interview. He's got some phenomenal interviews coming up from GCW. He's a top man doing top things, and I urge you to follow him everywhere. The links in the description for his YouTube and his Twitter and social media. in the meantime, Andrew, you have a good weekend. You have a good evening tonight, because as I'm going to bed, you're about to hit the town partying because it's Friday night. You are young. Oh no, it's lockdown, isn't it? So we can't go anywhere. You got to
My
stay
ass
in.
about to be right now as well. You tripping? I ain't trying to get COVID. Hell with that, buddy. I'm good.
One of these days, mate,
Party in my room.
the pubs will be back open and we can all we can start doing some stuff. I started watching that show you recommended, Mindhunters.
Did you like it?
Yeah, we're 2 episodes in. Me and my wife started watching it.
That shit crazy, bro.
So far, so good.
I might rewatch it. That shit is crazy.
I rewatched some stuff. What did I rewatch the other day? Breaking Bad. I rewatched.
Have you ever seen Atypical?
No, I have not.
Bro, it's a good show, bro. That's like a family show. It's about this young dude who he has autism and he like about to make his way like to college. So they like showing his story from like his last year high school up until it's funny as hell, bro. Like, it's a real good show. But yeah.
There was a show with Kevin Hart. Was it Kevin Hart? I don't know. No, with the guy from Breaking Bad. It might have been with Kevin Hart as well. And he plays a quadriplegic. So, you know the guy who plays the main character in Breaking Bad, yeah? He plays like a quadriplegic. Is that the right word? When they're like paralyzed from the neck down. It's like a film. And I'm sure Kevin Hart's in that. But anyway, it's superb. One phenomenal film. Really just was unexpected. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. Really enjoyed it. And I rewatched The Punisher recently as well, which was the Punisher TV show on Netflix. Superb stuff. Right, Andrew, I'm going to let you get off, mate. You have a good weekend and we'll hopefully catch up sometime next week then, yeah? For
Peace.
sure. Take it easy. Can't pull my buttons, man. Find the button. Push the button! What's in the box?